unmute my microphone. There we go. Let's see here. I need a third monitor. All right. Okay, I think that's working. I think I've got too many windows going on here. Let's bring this back over. Mute that stream. Analytics. Don't care about analytics. Okay, we will kick things off here with our April WiscWeb Lunch and Learn. I've got a lot of windows open. I'm trying to juggle everything that I'm showing everybody. I've got my camera on so everybody can kind of see me, and it's been a while since we've all kind of seen each other. So hopefully that will be coming to an end in the near future, and we can start doing some more on-campus open labs and things like that coming this fall. So hi everybody, I'm Matt Goins. I'm with the WiscWeb team obviously, and this is our April Lunch and Learn. I sent out the agenda this morning. It's a light agenda this month. We don't have a lot to update you all on, so we were going to take this opportunity to talk about a few things that we have seen come from support requests and the survey results themselves, and respond to those and make sure that we are hitting all those questions that are coming in. So general updates about the service and things that have been going on. We are continuing to work on performance and stability type things. I think for the most part, the service has been pretty good. We've been moving a lot of things in the back, on the server side of things, to make sure that the stability has been maintained, and we're getting to a point where we're close to finalizing some of those projects. So that's good to see. And that's really the only real technical update that we have. We have another theme release next month, May. We'll communicate more about that once we get closer to the theme update itself. There are a few things that are going to be front end and I guess customer facing, user facing for all of you. One of them hopefully being the button, which I did demo a couple months ago, but then we had to wait on that because marketing wanted to do some more tweaking of the styles. So that is coming. I think that's really the only big thing at the moment that'll be coming in the theme release. We're going to be looking at plugin updates coming up in the next couple of weeks. Another WordPress update likely in the near future here. So just general updates going on there. Again, like I said, there's not much going on that's going to affect all of you right now. It's most of what we've been doing over the past quite a while, I don't want to put a number on it, has been internal, service related and performance related type things, just making sure everything keeps running smoothly, and we can continue to improve and put ourselves in a position where we can start to make some more, user-facing updates with ease. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and kind of pop into the two items of note for this chat. The first being, I'm going to go through all the embedding options because that's one of the things that people have been asking about. It's one of the things that we saw in the survey results. So I was going to run down all of the various embedding options that are that exist, and then after that we'll have Keter come in, Keter Joyner, who's with our WPS team as a whole, with our client engagement team, and she was the one who did quite a bit of legwork on the WiscWeb user survey. So I'll have her present that after the fact. So let's do a quick swap here. Let's talk a little bit about the embedding options there. Again, if you guys have questions, any comments, anything like that, go ahead and pop them in the chat. We'll try to respond to them as we go. So embedding. A lot of times people want to take content that's created in another location and then embed it or display it via a web page, a page, a post, an event, something of that nature. So we have done quite a bit to add to the embedding options that already existed within WordPress. WordPress has a number of whitelisted embedding options. If I really quick go to, let's just Google this. WordPress itself has a huge whitelist list of things that you can use to embed on your page. One of the things that we wanted to point out, and I'll zoom in on this so we can all see it here, because this was as of, I believe this past week. I'm not certain when it was officially announced, but Facebook and Instagram are no longer allowing for embedding functionality in WordPress. They have chosen to not use or not honor the embed option, which is what WordPress used to embed those particular things. So just be aware of the fact that for those of you who are, and we'll communicate this out a little bit more later once we have maybe a little more clearer way to say this, but for those of you who are using Facebook posts or Instagram posts on your pages, just be aware of the fact that that is no longer going to be working. So make sure that you are attending to that. Again, it's not an us decision. This is a Facebook and Instagram decision. They're the ones who have decided to stop doing this. So we sort of make sure that we are letting you all know what's going on with that. So anyways, there's that particular item. I'll dump this over into the chat so you guys have that link. That's the embeds list and everything there. And then let's talk about the things that are embeddable in, or can be embedded. Embeddable? Making words up now. Can be embedded in our WiscWeb pages. So we'll start with the easy one. The easy ones are the videos, YouTube and Kaltura, Vimeo also, but I don't have any links to any Vimeo stuff. So a YouTube thing, let's see. Just going out to grab a quick video. Ads, of course, show up. So let's go ahead and add a new page. Let's just call this embedding demo. So YouTube, pretty easy. You just grab the link from your video, you drop it into the window itself. It automatically will embed it, and you just publish it and it shows up. So that's the easy one for YouTube. And again, any YouTube video, you can just, you can grab and put on your page. I would say, I want to make sure I say, if you are posting things that you are creating, so if this is like lecture content or demos that you're putting out there, anything like that, make sure that you are setting it so that it can be closed captioned, and either letting Google do it itself or YouTube do it itself, which is not as efficient as actually putting in the captions yourself. So just be aware of that. And then the other one that I was going to show you is Kaltura, or mediaspace.wisc.edu is the Kaltura server. I'll dump that in here as well. Uh-oh. I don't have any videos. Please hold. Tried to do that in a window when I wasn't logged in it. So with these, you would take the video that you have uploaded, you'll go to the share option, and you need the embed function. So you'll grab that. Same idea. Drop it in, and there it goes. It drops in the video itself. Now there are ways, I haven't done it myself because I haven't really created any, but you can also drop in playlists. I don't have a lot of experience with that. Yeah, I wonder if this will work. Let's give it a shot. Bet you it doesn't. It'll work for me because I'm a super admin. This might be something I have to talk to Scott about whether or not this is doable with his plugin. But regardless, that's something I'll have to talk to him about. But the videos themselves, you can just go and grab the share embed code and just drop that right into the text block here, and that will display the video from there. So those are videos. Again, that's something pretty straightforward. Let's see. The next one to bring on is the other various Google services that are available. I don't use Forms, but I might have one to try. I don't think I have any. Well, you can embed a Google Doc, or I'm sorry, a Google Form in. I don't think I have any to demo. I thought I had created one way back in the day. Oh, go back to that one. Yeah, I don't have any created. Google Forms is available. I should have looked at this before the video. It'll be the same idea. There's an embed functionality in it. You would take that, paste it into here, and it will display the form in your web page. We have Gravity Forms, and in the event that Gravity Forms doesn't do what you need it to do, you can use Google Forms. I guess if you have a need for a fillable form, and Gravity Forms isn't working for you, I guess reach out to me to see if we can figure out how to get it working for you, or to figure out how to, I guess, format it or create it so that it does work for you. The only reason I say that is just because the Google form, when we embed it into a page, it doesn't bring in formatting that is consistent with the page that you'll be on. It's the embedded Google form itself, so it'll look a little out of place within the page itself. So that's just one thing to be aware of for that. Let's see. The other is let's see if I can do this way. Maps. You can do Google Maps. I have KB docs out there on how to do this, but when you create a map, you can embed on my site. You can go and you can embed that Google map on a site. Again, it grabs all this code right here, bring it over, it strips out that code, and it puts the map in place on the page. And then, functions as the Google Map does. So you can do this as well if you have a number of places around Madison, around the state, around the country that you want to sort of create this map for, to highlight some information about. You can do so. And then the last one out of the Google services was Calendar. And go to settings and sharing. This one I have not done. A shareable link. There it is. The embed code right there. You can grab that. Get rid of you. So a Google Calendar can be also dropped on page. And again, this was one where we didn't have... What would be great is if Office, an Office 365 calendar could easily be embedded on a page, but I've never found a nice way to actually take an Office 365 displayed calendar and be able to put it on page. It's, for whatever reason, it doesn't have a good way to embed that functionality. So, groups have wanted to do a calendar display, for their Office information, things like that. We have the events calendar. Not everybody likes to use the events calendar. So we do have other options like today.whisk, and then also the Google Calendar function here as well. So those exist for the Google options. And again, I'm kind of bouncing through these just to kind of demo them and show you that they exist. But if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them into the chat, and we'll try to answer them there. So another one is Twitter. So Twitter still does work. Let me do this over here. So if I grab UW-Madison's Twitter feed, I can copy that and drop that in right there, and there you'll see it'll dump it in. It's not ideal when you just grab the URL and put it into your page there, because it will grab, I think, the most recent 20 is what it does. But regardless, and it also, you can see it centers it into the text area that's there. So another thing that you could do is, let's see. This one, publish.twitter.com. Add the timeline. Oh, they've changed. Oh, yep. Set customization options. So you can change some of the height. You can change the look of it. Could have sworn there was an option to limit the number that you see. Let's see if I can do this in the text area. Yeah, that just made it bigger. So if you wanted to fill a whole side, you could. The problem here, though, is no scroll bar. So I think just doing the feed itself is probably the easier way to go with that one. because that way you get the scroll bar. All right. So that's Twitter. So you can embed Twitter. One that I just demoed recently, I think last month, I believe, last month or the month before, it might have been last month, is the ability to embed box items. So you can embed. So I'm going to do, so you can do a couple of things here. One, you can embed files from Box. So one of the things that people have asked about in the past is, being able to view like a doc or a PDF or something like that within a web page. That's usually browser specific or requires a plugin of some sort, which we aren't going to tinker with when it comes to the plugin side of things. Oh, thank you, Ketter. Ketter just put in the chat the code from the Twitter, the publish.twitter.com part of it. You got that code, and then you could also add in the data-tweet-limit equals 5, and that will allow you to limit the number of tweets that you see in a particular window there. Okay, so Box, we allowed you the ability to embed files or embed a folder, and then also to do an upload. So this is kind of a refresher on what we talked about last month. But let's say I want to embed the folder entirely. So I have a folder of documents that I want to make available to my audience. I can go over here to more options. I can go to more actions, and I can do embed widget. I can choose the size. I can choose how I want it sorted. Then copy that, and then get rid of you. Drop that into there, and then save draft. There's a little security thing here that shows up that you'll have to tinker with. And here's that folder. So now I can view an entire folder within my webpage for a Box directory, which I think is pretty useful for some of our groups because of the fact that they make lots of things like old syllabi libraries or old class lists available. Here's one way to make some of those things a little easier to access. So that's how you do the folder. Same idea is true for a file. If you go into the folder and click on the particular link, the particular file, the 3 dots there, and then again, more actions, embed widget, copy. This one. Save draft. Preview. And then here's a PDF on the page. So one way you get around that is to use that. I don't think I uploaded any. PowerPoint would be the same thing. PowerPoints are things that people have been interested in trying to use. But I don't believe I have anything. That's a PowerPoint up here. So, and then the other thing is how to make it so that you can allow people to upload files to a Box folder. This is something that might be useful for, various paper submissions. You could drop this onto a form as well, into the text editor of the form. If you wanted people to upload a file to Box, you could send it in response to people as a part of that, like have them go somewhere to upload to Box and things of that nature. Meg brings up a good point. One of the things about Box that I find superior to WordPress when it comes to files and file storage is WordPress media library does not have versioning or revisions. It just basically, you upload a copy, it just uploads a new copy of that. It doesn't replace the old one, whereas Box it does. And so if you have files that are regularly updated and you want people to have access to the most recent versions, that is what you would want to use there. So to allow the embedding, or to embed that, you would go to more options. You would go to the file request option here, and then you want to copy the upload embed widget, and then drop that in, save the draft, and then preview the page. And now it's just a droppable. So nobody can see. So in this case, no one can see the files. They're just uploading it. So again, this is something that's beneficial from a standpoint of you need to get something from someone, but you don't want to give people access to a directory. Here you go. Just allow them to upload it this way. So that's the Box functionality. I'm trying to hop through this a little bit quick because I want to make sure Ketter has enough time to talk as well. So the last two that I wanted to touch on, one is embedding an RSS feed. So I need to go to this because I never remember what the full shortcode is. But we have shortcode, and I demoed this recently as well from a PubMed standpoint. Like you can get an RSS feed from PubMed to display onto your pages, but all it's using is this RSS shortcode feed. And so we do have the KB doc out there, but if I get rid of you and I just drop this shortcode in, so for example, if I went to news.wisc.edu, let's go science and technology. Sustainability. I've been working with these folks recently. It's tagged Campus Sustainability Map. Now there's only one. Let's go Green Fund. There you go. Here's a larger list. So if I grab that URL and I put the feed in here. Oops. Need to be italicized. Title, Green Fund feed. Description, fun things with the Green Fund. And then the more link could, again, be the full URL. And then I only want to show, let's say, 5 posts. So all I did was the URL of where I want to pull the feed from, the title, the description, the more link. So like if people click on more posts or more news or whatever it is, and then the max number that I want to display on my page. And preview. Nope. Didn't work. What didn't I do right? Do it live, they say. Oh, I bet it's that guy right there. Let's see if a extra tag in there is the culprit. It is. See? Do it live, they say. A little bit of troubleshooting in front of you. So here's what it is. This is just pulling in all of the information from this particular list. And, when I click on more, it'll take me right to that particular page that I was just showing you. That's the RSS feed. And then the last one to touch on really briefly, because this is one where I really don't know a lot about, is embedding Tableau visualization. So Tableau is a data visualization product. We do have a Tableau campus tool. However, there are limitations, or it is limited to use, and they have a page that describes all that stuff. There's also a public Tableau site, so that's the one that I'll pop out to, and I'll just grab a gallery here real quick. What was the one that I liked seeing? Food consumption in the US. And then if I go down here and I grab this code right here, so I have to make sure I grab everything in this embed code box. Grab that, go over, let's get rid of all this. Dump that into the text tab right there, and then bring over the visual. Nope. Do I just need the link? Did that get fixed? Yep, just the link. Thought we needed the whole embed script there. Okay. So let's save draft. Nope. Get back here. Save draft. And preview. And there it is. That doesn't look as good as I thought it would. Could have sworn this was working. Okay, that did work. So both will work, but obviously the embed code one gave me the full view of this, whereas the linked one did this. So go with that embed code one. But here again, this is all it is it's just a displayed data visualization. So again, I don't know much about Tableau. I don't know how to create these, but we did have a number of folks who wanted to display some data visualization, so we went with that. Colleen, to answer your question, when you embed it, no, you're still on your page. You're just pulling that content from an external source. Once they click on that more, they do leave. Or if they click on one of those links, they do leave. The list is on your page. The links themselves go to wherever that link is. So that's when they would leave your site. Okay. So that's it for the embeds. Again, let me go back to the KB real quick just to show you. So all I did when I went out here is I did a quick search on embed. And here are all of the various options. And we're gonna need to update these because of the various changes that have been happening. Things change. So, but we have these options out there. So just be aware of that. And we're always looking at more options from an embed standpoint. We can't guarantee that we will add it because we have to actually look at it, see the use of it, and then at the same time, accessibility, usability, things of that nature, we also have to take a look at as well. So we want to make sure that we do our due diligence before we agree to throw anything in there. So okay, so that's that. It's 12:37, and I wanted to make sure that I gave Keter enough time to talk as well. So now we're going to do a little bit of switcherooing. Oh, there you can see my family. Give me a hot second here, and boop. There we go. That's not what you want to see. this is what we want to see. There's the team. Hello, team. All right, Kedder, you want to go ahead and pop in and share your screen?
Yeah, let me present now. Tab. Okay. I
All right.
think.
I need to do some adjusting of my own. Oops. Oh, get back here.
Okay.
Doing it live, they say. All right, Kedder, the floor is yours.
Cool. All right. I think first, maybe I thought it might be a good idea to share a little bit that maybe some people in the chat worked with me, or I worked with you a few years ago. I was a web developer with WiscWeb up until 2019. And I left for a year and got a really good design education, and you all reeled me back in. So I'm back as a product designer. As Matt mentioned, working with the client engagement team. And so WiscWeb is one of the products I'm working on still, which is great. So I'm really happy to be back here and working with you all again. Hopefully a lot of people in this room contributed to the WiscWeb feedback survey. So if you remember in January, we sent this out, and kind of the main goal here was to kind of understand like who all of you are in 2021. Who is anybody in general in a pandemic? This is an interesting question. But we ran a survey last time in 2018, so it's been a long time. The service has grown from just 150 active sites to over 1,400 and like continuing to grow monthly. So, so there's just a lot to uncover and understand like who all of you are, what do you like, what don't you like, and that's what we wanted to get to. So just kind of a quick overview here. This is sort of a 14 question survey. 169 of you responded. Thank you so much. I know that like just responding to surveys in general is tedious and can be very time consuming. So we really appreciate how many of you participated in this. It was really amazing. Really good response rate, 19%, which increased from 2018. And then it was about a 3-week runtime. And then just to kind of to reiterate here, you know, one of the main goals was really to just understand who you all are, figure out what you'd like us to maybe stop doing or do more of, what things you'd like to see occur in the WiscWeb service to help you out in your daily activities on WiscWeb. And major shout out to Jenna and Matt for helping me get this through and looking at the data and just generally being awesome people. Thank you so much. So yeah, let's dive in a little bit. I'm just showing you some of the highlights just because we only have so much time, but I thought this would be some of the stuff I'm sharing today is some of the things I thought would be the most interesting to you all, just kind of in the short term time that we have today. So just a quick rundown of where everyone was coming from who contributed to the survey, which is all over the place. It's awesome. Basically, it's just like tons of people use WiscWeb. They come from all over campus, and it's really awesome to see. All of you are solving different problems with your sites, so that's something that we'll be interested to dig into more. You know, what are similar things you're trying to solve? What are different? Where can we help you and support you in those things? So yeah, this was just pretty cool to see. Next, we thought this was an interesting insight, just that how long have people been using the WiscWeb service? It's been around for a while, so a majority of responders have been using the service for 0 to 2 years. And so the reason why we just thought that was interesting is that that just means there's a lot of, you know, quote unquote newer users of the service, and we think a lot of that is attributed to just us having moved to WordPress around that time frame. 3 or so years ago. So in many ways, this makes sense. WordPress is a very supported tool. It's attractive to many people. So it makes sense when we migrated from open text to WordPress that more people were interested in using it. So, but anyway, pretty cool. And then this is just showing a snapshot of, we asked you all kind of just out of the box what you think about the service. Overall, a majority of you all really enjoy the service. And it was just sort of interesting to get a little bit more feedback from you all on, if you like the service, what is it that you like about it? If it's fine, but there are some issues, what are those things? And so when people said that the service was life-saving, a lot of that was, like, really love the support, the features, easy to use, things like that. When we start getting into fine, buggy, and great, that's when it starts to get a little bit where some users were saying, which was very helpful to know, it's just that, like, I wish there were more features. I wish there were, I had a little bit more control over my site, or there were more design options. Those were the types of words you all were using to describe the service if you chose those words. So again, thanks for giving us that feedback. It's awesome for us to know and to be aware of. So next, the top 3 reasons for using WiscWeb. This is pretty awesome. I think designing with the UW the theme won by just a pinch, but it's good to know that people, all of you, really value designing with the theme and the support that comes along with it to build successful and engaging sites. So it's also very clear that people value WordPress. I think, again, we sort of knew that just because there are so many more people who gravitated toward the service when we moved to WordPress. So this is really nice. And then we'll look a little bit at kind of the other reasons. So other reasons people said they used WiscWeb. We thought it was really great. People value, that the campus branding sponsorship. So, of course, we have a partnership with University Marketing. So knowing that you all value that, it's the design and the things that are created are in collaboration with them, and knowing that, it aligns with brand standards and, what the things that they value, and the kind of a unified design that we like to have on campus. Easy to use was another top thing that people said was one of the reasons why they used the service. Some people said they were unaware of alternatives, which totally makes sense. So, there might have been some turnover in groups where, somebody might have said this is just what you have to use. The tool was already chosen, the service was already chosen when you joined. So this makes sense here, but also good for us to be aware of, so we can surface other things that are out there that can be used to build websites as well. And just some other, the community of practice, people enjoyed that. Lots of more callouts to support, not just support, but excellent support from Matt and Jenna was one of them. So again, thank you for that feedback. Thought this was also really great insight from you all. How important are these topics when using the WiscWeb service in all these different areas? So this is what you're seeing here is broken up by people who are frequent users of the service, but are passive, which means passive users are the ones who are maybe like, I don't want to say at risk, but they might choose to go to another service or a tool. Frequent and promoters are people who use the service a lot and also really love it. So just showing you a breakdown of all 3 categories of user types within WiscWeb service. And it was cool to see that, like, between all of those different categories, these were the top 3 things that people said were very important to them. So service uptime, new features and design elements, page speed for visitors to your site. So this was just really, really good for us to know, because these are focus areas, knowing that these are important to you all as kind of the top 3 drivers. These are things that we can focus on to continue improving on. So that's great. This one is just talking about what are the top 3 modes of support that you all identified as being most valuable to you. So we have help documentation, reviewing a KB, this is sort of like that self-service option of looking for, having a question, being able to find it online, email support, and then the training sessions, lunch and learns included in that, open labs, things like that. This one is interesting because in 2018, it was almost flipped as to what was, people thought was most helpful to them. So help documentation was lower. kind of what we attribute maybe to this flip was that WiscWeb did a ton of work to improve their KB documentation in, like, last year, I think it was. And then also we're in the middle of a pandemic, so there's not an option to really be in person and attend training sessions. So we'll be curious just to ask you all about this one again, just to see if things change. Be interesting to know. But again, this allows us to know, knowing that these things are very important to you, as in terms of priority as well, where we can spend most of our time making things even better, especially if these are the, you know, the areas of support that you really find most valuable. Next, so this is talking about the different, these are sort of the greatest challenges that you all identified as, majority identified as being pain points of the service. So here are some actual quotes from users, but number one was feeling like there's just a limited control and flexibility. So feeling like maybe the design doesn't have a lot of personality, or feeling like you're not sure how to add more personality and creativity, or feeling like there's not a lot of options for you to do that. Second, lack of design options, which is very similar, but this one was a little bit more about wishing there were, you know, maybe more options for displaying things, or page elements that you could choose from to create different layouts, for example. Thirdly, this one was an inability to add plugins, and or that WiscWeb just has a limited selection. So just kind of a caveat for this one that we wanted to make sure we mentioned was of course, I think many of you all know that WiscWeb is a super small team, so being able to add more plugins isn't something that we know we can do right now, just because it's difficult to support with us being on a shared infrastructure. There's just a lot to consider there. But what we are very interested in knowing is what are the specific features and functionalities of plugins that you all look at and use or want to use, because there's a potential that we could incorporate some of that functionality into, for example, say the UW theme or the WiscWeb service as itself. So I think it was about 94 people identified in the survey that they would be willing to follow up with us. So we will actually be asking you about this topic to try to drill in further. What are those kind of specific, very specific features and functionalities of things that you'd like to see added, because we'd like to work on those and see if we can incorporate those into our planning as well. So let's go on to the next one. Oops. Lastly here, or second to lastly, we asked you all about what ways do you use your website to support any marketing efforts. This was really cool. It was really neat to see that a ton of you use it for event promotion. That's really great. You know, just general marketing out research. There's a lot of people who are advanced users of Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager. They might be using programs like Eloqua, or, you know, you might on your teams be using Salesforce or something like that to manage communication. So it's just kind of cool to see how you all use marketing in your day-to-day efforts, but then also how you use marketing with your website within WiscWeb. And so the reason why we were asking this is because we want to know how we can support you in these different things that you do. So this is something that we'll be looking at. Also, something I think I want to mention real quick, if I could go back to the last slide, is these 3 challenge pain point areas, just real quickly, are kind of the things that you can think of that's going to be sort of WiscWeb's North Star, if you will. So when we think about how we improve this service, these are kind of the 3 buckets of things. When we say like, oh, we're thinking about adding X, Y, and Z, we want to know if it fits within these 3 buckets, so it directly addresses some of the challenges that you have. So just something to note that, like, that's kind of how we're using this information. It's directly to inform what it is that we provide you all to make it a better experience for you. And then lastly, you know, these are the things that will continue to keep doing well. These are the things you all identified as things that you love about the service. So you all had said amazing support, reliable hosting, campus approved designs, great documentation, easy to use. And that's really helpful for us to know, because we can keep like hammering in on those things to make sure they stay good, and that you continue to enjoy them. So yeah, that is what I got. I'm just thinking out loud here. Matt and Jenna might be a good idea for us to send out like a summary of this to everyone else too. I just realized there's not everybody, of course, is in the Lunch and Learn. So if you all want a way to like look back at this information, I can put that together so that you can reference it.
Yeah, we can certainly look at ways to communicate this out a little bit more as well.
Cool. Yeah, and so then keep a lookout for those 95 of you who said you'd be willing to follow up with us. We will be sending a follow-up survey to dig into some more of this stuff for you. Get some more specific features and things that you'd like to see added. And so when we can identify patterns in those things, the more people ask for a thing, the more we have, a way to identify what it is that we should work on and prioritize. So that's what that survey will serve as. So thank you very much.
Yep. I'll reiterate that. We got a lot of good feedback, and we want to react might not be the best way to say it, but we do want to take the feedback that we got and make sure that we move the service forward in a responsible way for us and you, but also to make sure that we continue to move forward. One of the things that I nudge everybody about from time to time is I don't want us to get stagnant. I don't want us to be complacent with where we are. I want us to keep pushing. And so hopefully these responses will allow us to create a map for ourselves to sort of keep going forward with that. Let's see.
Yeah, I think that if I could add one more thing to that, something that's kind of cool is since we got so much feedback already, some pretty concrete things we were already able to identify, stuff we can start working on. So like there are already things we're like moving and shaking on to make some improvements. So again, just thank you for participating in that, because it was very helpful to have all that feedback from all of you.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to say, because a lot of times, a lot of you who attend these lunch and learns, you are longer time users, or you are folks who have not been shy or hesitant to reach out to us as a team. But there's a lot of things that people aren't aware of, and the pain points that you all have experienced have helped us improve the service for those who are coming into it. And that's kind of one of the things as well, is trying to improve that experience and that process for everyone else moving forward, so that we're all sort of pulling in the same direction. So all the help that you guys give us to get better helps everybody else who comes into the service, improves that experience for them. Let's see. Jenna, any updates from you?
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to unmute.
No, it's okay. No. All right. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, that'll be it unless any specific questions. We've been chatting back and forth with those questions, and they're responding to them. So, as always, thanks for attending. Thanks for interacting with us. We'll do this again next month. Next month, we'll review the theme update and then any other changes that have happened since then. We have quite a few things, again, brewing that we want to share with you all, but we don't want to share them too early because it's all changing. So, that kind of happened with the button. We were ready for it to go. We shared it. Things changed. So, my camera just died on me. Sorry. So yeah, I'm going to do another Learn with Matt soon. There are a couple of things that I want to show people how to do, and I also want to learn how to do a few things myself. One of them is the today.wis.edu sort of feed type thing. Nick Weaver from UW Marketing had presented something to the Community of Practice group a while back, and then Jenna shared those notes with me, and I want to take a look at those notes and show you guys how to do some stuff with the today.wisc feeds. And then just a general, one of the questions that I get often is, how I want to lay this page out like this. I want to put this type of information on there. I want these pictures to do this certain thing. And so I kind of just want to do like a little hangout of, what type of page do you want to create? Let's create it together kind of thing. So I'll reach out to all of you and see what kind of things you want to do with that. But I just kind of want to show you how to do some things with your pages that maybe you hadn't thought of before, using the various page elements and just a few tricks behind the scenes. So that's it for us this month. You all know how to get in touch with me if you have any questions, or with us as a group if you have any concerns or anything like that. We'll talk to everybody else in May, and stay safe, and I guess enjoy the weather getting much nicer. So take care, everybody.